Hello, guys. The camera went dim, of course, again. Hopefully, we can get this fixed. I just wanted to touch on a bit of high intensity training when it comes to bodybuilding, working out. How crucial this type of training is, especially on our last working set on every exercise. That's when it's balls to the wall. When most people think the set is complete, when it is finished, no, that's when the set is actually just beginning. And this began with Arthur Jones in the 70s, who was more of an entrepreneur. He wasn't really a bodybuilder or had really any financial interest in bodybuilding, but he wanted to know how to build the best body as possible, what training methods. And Mike Mentzer, who was one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, an uncrowned Mr. Olympia, one of the greatest, the mass monster of the late 70s. You'll never see a bigger guy, more ripped in the 70s. 5'8", 225 on stage, ripped. He made Arnold look like a swimmer in the 1980 Olympia when Arnold, of course, had the promoters in his pocket, which is one of the most disgraceful Olympias. But Mike Mentzer used this method as well in a limited sense. Dorian Yates, who came along in the 90s and reigned from 92 to 96, as Mr. Olympia, 6 times in a row, one of the greatest, if not the greatest bodybuilder of all time, my favorite, hands down, employed this even better. High-intensity training, he called it. And what it entails is you do your warm-up sets, then you do some working sets, some normal sets to failure, then you have one last set. And that one last set, you do not only to failure, but past failure. Failure means you're doing bicep curls. You're doing bicep curls. And I'm going to put a couple videos. I did a couple today that I was working out just in my bedroom there with some loose weights, doing some bis and some tries. As I've been off the gym a while, I'm trying to get back at it. Just started eating better the last week, and I've probably put on 5 pounds back of weight I lost just by eating properly and clean. And so, I'll post maybe a video of that and a video I did in the gym where I demonstrate this, where I show this method, and I would like to maybe put a clip in of Dorian Yates explaining it and demonstrating it, which is much better. But basically, you can't do any more curls. Can't do any more. Number 8. That's when your training partner comes in and gives you some force reps. Up, and then you fight the negative on the down, slow. Up, slow on the negative. Because this is half your movement. This is the other half of your movement. If you're just going like this, you're not doing it properly. You're missing half of the tear, the damage that you could do to the muscle that will repair. Positive, holding it there is static, but the negative. People miss the negatives. Boom. So 8 or 10, you can't do any more at all. Get your training partner, if you have one, give you some force reps. Fight it, force reps until you can't do any more. Or if you don't have a training partner, kind of cheat your body up and then fight the negative, as I do in this video. Up and fight the negative. So you can't do any more. Throw a couple up, fight the negative. Can't do any more. Drop the weight and grab another bar that's half of that weight and keep going. A much lighter weight, but keep going. It's going to be very heavy. You'll squeeze out a few And then when you can't do any more, boom. That's when the set's finished. Not when you're doing your 8, then stop. No, that's when you do force reps, partials, negatives, cheats, and drop sets. You employ these type of things. A partial rep would be this. Would be, and I show some when I'm doing hammer curls. You're coming up, can't do anymore. Coming up, can't do anymore. Coming up, I can't get it all the way up there. So what do? I do a partial. Not all the way up. A partial. A partial. A partial. Partial, can't do anymore. Drop the weight. Then you drop the weight in half, or about 60%. Pick it back up. Start again, much lighter weight, but squeeze out a few more. That's how you do a working set. There's negatives, slowing the way down. There's partials, where you're not coming quite all the way up, but you're doing a partial rep, as if we're doing these. Side lateral, boom, 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 boom. Can't do any more. Boom. Partials. Drop that. Grab a couple more dumbbells, half the weight. And you can't do any more. That's the set. That's the set. And so this is how growth is made. My training partner that I train with, my buddy Lee, my brother-in-law, good buddy, he's 5'8", 240. You know, he walks around at between 230 and 250. He's about 240 now. The biggest bodybuilder around here. He looks like a bodybuilder. Doesn't look like a big, fat power lifter or anything. He's round, thick, dense, everywhere from head to toe. And he's probably not only the best bodybuilder around here, but he's also the strongest because he employed these methods even before I met him. And I said, geez, we agree on training methods. And we started training the last few years together at the gym. Me more off than on compared to him. He's Mr. Consistent. You look at all the great bodybuilders of yesterday. How did they train? This type of training method to get that thickness and that thick, dense look that you can tell when a guy's on stage. His thick, if he has a thick, dense, granity, looks like he's carved out of stone, but thick and dense muscle. There's a difference between thick muscle and thick and dense muscle. Yates had all of that. And when you seen him on stage, you knew he trained heavy with lower reps and high intensity. You can always tell the guys that train that way just by the look of them on stage. It's as simple as that, and we can give many examples. But I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to put maybe a video or two, one of me home here today, one of me or two one or two of me in the gym demonstrating this, and we're going to pull out the man himself, the Shadow, the Savage, Dorian Yates, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, the first original mass monster of 1993. No one ever came on stage under 6 feet tall at over 250 pounds, ripped, at 2 to 3% body fat, no water. He came in at 257. Then he blew up all the way to 272 near the end of his career at 5'10". On stage, off stage, he got up to 310. So this guy was a big boy, but he was also known as paper-thin condition, and his condition matched his thickness. That's why he looked even more tremendously big, because of his conditioning. He was just as ripped as Shauna Ray, who was 210 and 5'5". He was just as ripped at his best years, but 50 to 60 pounds heavier. But anyway, that's just a little bit about high-intensity training and the last working set and how you can benefit from that. I don't look at myself because I've been out of the gym a while and I'm 5'10" and probably not even $150 at the moment, if that. but I've been training off and on for a good over 10 years. So I've experimented, read, just this is kind of a second hobby to me. Not near, but next to studying the Word of God, biblical studies, theology, the Lord. But my second passion would be bodybuilding. Not just the lifting aspect and the challenge of getting in there and getting in the zone into a dark place where you release all your negative energy and aggression, and where nothing else matters. You can have 20 girls walk by in their aerobic gear and you don't even see them. You don't even notice, because I'm so in the zone that it's not even funny. And but yeah, that's about that. And in the description, I'll put a couple videos I demonstrate this. One at home today, one in the gym, one or two in the gym, and we'll throw Yates in there. Dr. Dorian Yates. So hopefully this helps just a little bit in understanding how to step it up to the next level. We don't do this every set. You don't do a high intensity set with drop sets, force reps, all of that every set. It's the very last working set, your very last set before of that exercise, particular exercise. Then you go on to your next exercise. Okay, my next exercise is going to be dumbbell delt press, shoulder press. Go into that, your last set, do that. Do the drop set, make it high intense at that last set. Your next exercise, the last set, do it again. You can't do it every set. Do your working sets till you can't do any more. Your warm-ups, you're just warming up. You don't go to failure. You got more in the tank, but you're warming up the muscle. Do some working sets, can't do any more, drop the weight. Then the last set is when it's balls to the wall. When most people think the set's finished, that's when it's just actually starting and beginning.